Some of the strongest people you'll ever meet are the kindest, but for some reason, the world will often mistake this kindness for weakness. And I've been thinking about kindness a lot recently. On the weekend, I was heading back after I was hanging out with my girlfriend. And, I was just driving home and I was listening to some music. And I went to merge into my left lane and this guy comes speeding past at probably 90 in a 60. And I was just thinking, I was a little bit annoyed because obviously someone could have gotten hurt, but I'm just glad I checked all my blind spots, And, I didn't think too much of it. I was a little bit annoyed, but I just continued driving, listening to my music, just chilling. And then eventually I pull up to a light and I'm still behind this guy because he got stuck at the light or whatever. And I'm just sitting there, just listening. And the light turns green. And this guy just doesn't move. So I'm like, oh, maybe he's on his phone or something. He's a red P plater. For those of you who don't know, that just means they got their license in Australia. So I thought, oh, maybe he just doesn't know. And at this point, it's about 9:20 p.m. and it's past my bedtime. I want to get home. Not in a rush, but I don't want to sit at this light for too long. And he kind of just sits there still. So it's been maybe 3 or 4 seconds of the light turning green. So I give him a polite double beep, and that might not sound very polite, but I can assure you this was the most polite double beep I could do. There wasn't like a factor of intimidation or like I was telling him to hurry up. I was just trying to make it obvious the light was green. And this guy had the audacity to stick his finger out at the car at me. He put the rude finger up. And I'm just sitting there a bit confused. He nearly just sideswiped me after speeding in a 60, and he's just got his license. And then he stuck his finger up at me because he missed the light. And I think this has just gotten me to start thinking about kindness and how in this world we're so caught up in our own things. He was probably with his friends having a laugh, thinking that was the funniest thing ever. And sure, I didn't really care. I was a little bit annoyed after that because I didn't really do anything. But I think a lot of people are just so caught up with themselves and they don't have any respect for other people, whether that be on the road or just in general life. I think a lot of people don't care for one another. And that's a sad thing because the person that you might be angry at, even if he was angry towards me, that could be someone you care about or a friend, but you never put in the effort to be kind. You could be missing out on so many opportunities because you decided to act so childish. And then again, imagine if he did hurt someone, or even his friends in the car, or himself. He would feel so devastated, and all he would look for in that moment was kindness. He would want someone to be kind to him, but he didn't have the ability to do that to someone else. People tend to think that being kind makes them seem passive or like they're not in control of a situation and they're a pushover. But I think that's really separate. It's a disconnected perspective, because when you act so aggressive or mean or try to be cool in front of your friends, it just makes you look like a weirdo, especially from an outsider's perspective. He probably thought he was looking cool. He probably thought he was doing something funny. And I think a lot of people nowadays have that perspective. They try to put other people down and they try to look better than everyone else because they think that it makes them look good. Maybe it's more likely for their crush to like them, or they get a sense of confidence out of it. They get a hit of dopamine from being nasty. And I think it's funny because these people feel like they're at the top of the world, even though they're just a drop in the ocean. And I guess that includes everyone. That includes me. That includes you. We are nothing more than a number. And it might sound kind of sad to say that, but I also think it's quite freeing, because at the end of the day, nothing matters. And that's why I think being kind is such a easy and rewarding thing to do. Like, being nice to someone not only makes your day better, but it makes their day better. That also reminds me, that same day I was in the shopping center with my girlfriend, and they were doing samples, and I was just waiting in the line, and there was all the samples were about to run out, and the lady in front of me, she was an older lady, she had a trolley, and she was kind of blocking the path, but I didn't really mind, because obviously she wasn't in a rush. She's got nowhere to be, it's okay. And she could see that I was waiting in the line, but I was blocking her. So she's like, no, she didn't even say anything. She grabbed me like 4 samples without saying anything and just smiled. And I just thought that was the sweetest thing ever. And it genuinely made me happy. It made me happy to see someone was that caring enough to be kind to a stranger. And honestly, I wish I could do that myself. I wish I could just see a situation and intuitively decide to make the right opportunity, because being able to be kind to the people around you is one of the most freeing experiences. I genuinely believe being kind to those around you is one of the easiest ways you can improve your life and be happier as a person, because when you remove that angst and that negative emotion, that anger or frustration, and you're just able to be in the moment, you feel happier. You feel like you're contributing. Even though it's such a small act, it genuinely changes someone's day. Like, I'm remembering this 4 days later. That's how kind it was. And I think people's lack of kindness sometimes links to a sense of insecurity. I know when I was very unconfident, I didn't feel like being kind. I didn't feel like helping people. And obviously I've completely changed the way I look at that now, because that was just silly. But I think a lot of it stems from insecurity, because we don't want to seem like we're a pushover. We don't want to seem like we're passive, because then if we're confronted, we might just be run over. And this creates a sense of bitterness and cruelty to those around you, because they don't want them to view you as less. You don't want to be viewed as less, so you become a bit harsh. You become cold-hearted. And this belief that everyone's out to get you or everyone wants to look better than you, it reinforces this lack of kindness. This weakness of kindness just keeps reiterating, because people believe that everyone wants to be better than them. Everyone has angst against them. But in all reality, I think this cruelty is just worsening everyday life. It's worsening how humans interact with each other, and the easiness of making a connection. Because when you look at the people around you, you might see that maybe they look angry, or maybe they don't look very pleasant to be around. But honestly, I think most of this is just a facade, because half the time when I see someone like that, they are usually one of the kindest people I've ever met or talked to. And I think one thing that pushes this more is the internet and social media. Like, you see all these look maxes that are putting on this persona of being big and cold and scary and cutting everyone off, and I don't know, switching up on their day ones. And I think that just creates a sense of emotional numbness, because they see solitude as a sign of strength, and being kind to someone just weakens that. I think the main thing I'm trying to get here is being kind doesn't have to be viewed as a weakness, because it genuinely makes people's days better. It makes not only your, but someone else's day better. And I think if we adopt a sense of caring and looking after those around you, the world would be a much better place. So if you were to take one thing away from this video, I think it would be to look for opportunities where you can be kind. And that's not to do it in a malicious sense or an artificial way, but try to do something for someone you know they would appreciate. I'll see you in the next one.